Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my podcast where you can gain insight on my perspective. My name is Hayden, and this is episode 23 of a series called 24 Lessons I've Learned in My 24 Years of Life. Today's lesson is learn to say no. This is still a lesson I struggle with. Learn to say no to the things that you don't want to do. As someone who spent most of his life aiding to other people and being a people pleaser, I had a hard time saying no, and I would feel guilty if I ever did say no. This is where I lacked boundaries and communication because I felt that I had to live my life for other people. I didn't know that I could live my life for myself. I was always taught that if you live life for yourself, you're selfish. And there's a balance in between that of living for yourself and living for others. But if you can't live for yourself on your own, you can't live for others. Through my healing journey, any time that I expressed that I didn't want to do something, I was guilt-tripped or made to feel ashamed that I would say no to doing something, especially if it's like a family dinner, a family trip, a hangout, going to the movies, going to the store. Anytime I would say no to any of the things I didn't want to do, I was guilt-tripped and I felt ashamed. If I spoke about something I was passionate about or I tried setting a boundary, I was told you should feel ashamed of yourself. Why should I feel shame? Because growing up, that's all I did feel. I felt ashamed for the way I was living my life. I felt ashamed for every single thing that I was doing because I was guilt-tripped. Pretty much made to not even respect myself, to not respect boundaries outside of that because my parents didn't have boundaries and they never reinforced them, at least with other people. My mom didn't really have boundaries with other people. She was a yes man to everything. She was there for any person's any need and she was always there to help. And I learned that from her. And if anybody needed help, you were there. Didn't matter if you had the energy for it or not. My mom did not have healthy boundaries with a lot of things, which I didn't realize till I was much older. I wasn't aware of those things. I was a kid. Since my mom was a steady people pleaser and I was taught that saying no was rude, I got myself into numerous dangerous situations because I could not say no. I also got myself into situations that I would later regret in life because I did not say no. Anytime I tried to set a boundary with my parents to say no, they told me saying no was talking back, even though they weren't allowing me to speak after I had said no, to explain my part, to explain this is why I'm feeling this way, but it was no, being dismissed, your feelings are shut out, and I'm not going to listen to what you have to say because I'm the adult and you're the child. That's how I remember my relationship with my parents to be, is that anytime I said no, it was considered rude, disrespectful, and talking back. Because my parents didn't like to hear me say no. You're going to be a yes man. You're going to say yes to everything I say because you're going to do every single thing that I say. I didn't have healthy boundaries with my parents and I feared saying no to them because they instilled that fear in me. They made me feel ashamed for saying no. They made me feel guilty for saying no. Hence why I didn't have a voice of my own as a kid. I couldn't set those boundaries. I didn't even understand what boundaries were as a kid because I didn't have any. There were lines and apparently I crossed them because I didn't know any better. And my parents wouldn't tell me I crossed the boundary until I had a paddle on my ass. Or I had a lecture from the Bible and then a paddle on my ass. So I guess lesson learned, right? Not saying no can be extremely dangerous. Hell, I was in an attempted kidnapping at 19 because I couldn't say no to loading up somebody's gutted white utility van. I was a cart attendant at the time, and I was told that I had to load up people's cars and to never get in them. But the man asked me to load his van, and he trapped me in there. I got out, so I was never kidnapped. That's why I've changed my wording to an attempted kidnap. But yeah, that's all because I wasn't allowed to say no, or I felt that I couldn't say no because I was in an uncomfortable situation because I was taught that saying no is rude. Saying no is not nice, especially when you're capable of doing something for someone else. And that's how you get taken advantage of, and that's how you get put in dangerous situations. Something I'm not proud of is I didn't say no when somebody asked me out, so I willingly put myself in a relationship that I knew from the beginning that I did not want to be in, which caused a whole hell of a lot of problems. I understand now that was very wrong, and I did punish myself for that. I felt guilty, and I've release that guilt, like it wasn't working out and I'm sorry and I should never have said yes. I should have said no. I should have been honest from the start. You get the point. But saying no too much can cause you to miss out on experiences and activities and opportunities. So find a balance that works for you. If you're someone that says yes to a lot of things, find the balance within saying yes. Avoid burnout. Avoid overspending and get rid of your fear of FOMO. You're not missing out on what's meant for you. So if your plans don't work out or you feel that you don't want to go out, you're not missing anything. I've gotten better at saying no over the years, which has led me to start investing more in myself. And me spending time with myself is way more important than quantity time. I had a recent conversation with my friend, quality over quantity. That has been a pretty steady pattern in my life, is learning quality over quantity. That goes for the people I'm hanging out with. Like, do I want to have a bunch of friends, or do I want to have small groups of friends who I can focus on each individual friend and keep my circle small? That's what I want over tons of friends. It's also learning to categorize people that you meet. Not everybody's your friend. I learned that I'm a friendly person, but I'm not friends with everyone, and not everyone deserves to be in my circle. I'm allowed to say no to people that I don't want in my circle or that I don't want close to me. That I'm in control of. I don't have to allow people that aren't adding anything to my life into my circle. So learning that has led me to continue to invest more into myself, because I deserve that. If I said yes to every event, every gathering, every experience, every single opportunity, I would not have time for myself. I would not know who I am as a person. I probably wouldn't even be making these podcast episodes, because going through these experiences and learning to invest in myself has allowed me to dig deeper and delve into myself in a way in which I can articulate my thoughts, feelings, and words, my experiences to you. I say yes to the things that I feel are going to give me quality time, quality experience, things that are important to me. If I feel that something is not going to add to my life, I will say no to it. Whether that's a person, experience, or opportunity, I won't hesitate to say no. I will give it a thought, I'll think about it, but I'm allowed to say no at the end of the day and not feel guilty for it, not feel ashamed for it. And that's something that I've been learning even recently, is learning to say no without feeling guilty, without feeling ashamed, because I don't deserve that. Everybody's out here trying to figure life out on their own, and I understand the way I was raised is not the way that I am now. I don't have to abide by the same rules and laws that my parents put on me. They did help raise me, but now I'm unwinding the things that they taught me that no longer serve me. And I'm adopting qualities and traits that do serve me, and thinking processes, and everything that can work for me to help me be a better person, to help me be functional. I focus on the things that help me become a better person, not for someone else, but for me. If someone or yourself tries to make you feel guilty for saying no to something, don't take it personally. People guilt trip because they can be insecure, they can have low self-esteem, and they can be manipulative. Because otherwise there's truly no reason to make somebody feel guilty for something that they don't want to do. I find that to be very toxic. Secure people won't mind you saying no to something. They will respect your decision and can move on, so more power to you. The friends in my life now know and understand that saying no is not a bad thing, and they will never try to make me feel guilty for saying no. They could be excited about me coming to something, might be expressing it could be a missed opportunity and they want me to reconsider, but they understand if I don't want to, and they're not going to make me, because nobody can make you do anything except for yourself. There are boundaries that are communicated amongst my friends and I and the people in my life. So if we want to say no to something, we can. We know that maybe next time we could do something. But if you're not feeling it, say no. Don't disrespect yourself in the process of trying to figure out what's best for you. If the experience, situation, hangout, whatever it is not going to add to your life, and you don't feel that it's worth it, don't waste your time and energy. Learn to say no without feeling guilty, especially if you're a people pleaser. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's podcast episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope that y'all learned something from this, and if you didn't, well, that's okay, because I did. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will catch you guys in next week's episode, which is the final episode that will conclude the series of 24 lessons I've learned in my 24 years of life. Have a wonderful week.